Hello, and thank you for being here. That was Tibetan bell music. I was using it as a sound check. So thanks for getting back to me and letting me know what's going on. We're going to be following a concept this evening of math as medicine. We started vocal profiling, and a lot of people followed behind us, MIT, Mayo Clinic, but they're using things like MRIs and blood tests and all this. We didn't have enough money to do all of that, so we're only doing this from the math. We collected vocal prints. Just as a song has frequency, so does your voice. So we collected vocal prints, and this many people had high cholesterol, and these were the common frequencies in their voice. So we put together a database just based on the numbers. There's a lot of ancient literature about this. I think that's where numerology comes from. Maybe in What's the Sounds of Your Name that you'll find in some of the Jewish literature. So we're looking at this by checking your voice, vocal profiling, and finding biomarkers in your voice by looking at the frequencies that come out of your voice. And if you have sour notes in your speaking voice, then that indicates to us that something is not doing well. I certainly appreciate all of you join us. This is great. We're going to talk this evening about fatty liver. Actually, we're going to be talking about the metabolism of fatty liver. Those of you who have extra weight around the middle usually have a fatty liver. And we are going to show you how to use our public workstation to take a vocal print and look at your metabolism and see what's causing the metabolism to gain all the weight around the middle. A lot of the times when people gain weight around the middle, it's for protection. Like a woman that's pregnant will gain fat around the middle. If you are having trouble with your guts or one of your organs, there'll be fat laid down around the middle. And we're going to explore that. We do have a volunteer tonight, Richard. And Richard, I don't think you have a microphone, so I am going to make you a panelist or an organizer so that you can have a microphone. While we're at it, to let you know that Richard is an herbalist, a master herbalist, and so he may come in some and tell us too about what herbs are good for a fatty liver. Fatty liver, right now, the biggest thing that we're finding is that fatty liver is causing insulin resistance and diabetes. Now, diabetes is usually associated with the pancreas, but insulin resistance is associated with fatty liver from our data. We do have a question and answer. I hope I can keep up with it. We have lots of questions already and comments. Okay. So what causes a fatty liver, and what does a fatty liver cause? Well, a fatty liver causes digestive upsets, mood swings, hormone imbalances. We'll go through that and show you the programs that we can help you use to work with this. We're going to be giving away the software or a copy of the software for you to use on your own computer. And we're also going to propose that we have a giveaway and a course. There's a lot of things that I just can't go into. We only have an hour. So it's a lot of things. This is what I found that deals with the liver enzyme tests. Now, I don't have these decoded, but I'm going to decode them and have them available today so that you guys can go on our workstation and look at the fatty liver and see how you come out. You can join as a guest, and that's free, I think for 2 weeks, I think. And then it's $20 a month, which is kind of nothing. And I'll show you how to do that. You can also purchase the fatty liver database. It's $187, but you can use it on the portal for $20. Now, why you would want this is if you don't have internet, because the portal, soundhealthportal.com, requires an internet. So we're going to be talking about this. I'm Sharry Edwards, your host for the evening. I'm from the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health. We're located in southern Ohio, out in the middle of nowhere. Closest city is Parkersburg, West Virginia, but we're really out in the boondocks. And what we do is stick a microphone in front of your face. We take a 30-second sample of your voice. We put it into a computer program, and you choose what kind of evaluation you want. I think there's 5 or 6 on there that are free right now. And from there, they'll give you back a report. Your community needs you. We are being bullied with our health, and we want to help people start a bioacoustic center in their community. This is one of the biggest problems we see. People are gaining weight around the middle, and I think a lot of it comes from glyphosate poisoning, Roundup, and we've had Stephanie Seneff on our radio show, and she confirms that Roundup really messes with people's metabolism. So over the years, 30 years now, we have been able to take 30 seconds of your vocal print and really look at what is going on. So this evening, it's going to be about fatty liver in general, diabetes. We'll throw in some heart disease. Autoimmune is a big one. You can see how the chronic inflammation causes this metabolic syndrome. And there's a lot involved there, the thyroid, all of the organs, how your body digests food. You can see how the fatty liver really causes a lot of problems, especially diabetes of the liver kind. So we base everything that we do on the ability to look at your voice, and from those frequencies, your body tells us what's wrong and how to reorganize itself. We are working with a lot of doctors, and we will provide you with information about that. This is Dr. Apsley, and he says Sharry Edwards' work defines and demonstrates the unifying field theory that defied Einstein. Now, we did not tell him when he started sending us clients that we had modified Einstein's theory, but he recognized it. And in his case, the very first person he sent us was a little girl named April who had Down syndrome. And using the frequencies in her voice, we were able to get rid of the rounded forehead, the stubbed fingers. She couldn't jump up off the ground. And she was then later in the Special Olympics doing gymnastics. So she is doing incredible work. There's a couple of books out with our chapter 5 is in this one, thebusinessofdisease.com. And it talks about how ancient information is now coming through, and we're using it to computerize this work so that everybody can have access to it. Also, it talks a lot about why big pharma and big medicine, they're robbing your pockets, and we want to put the information back in your hands so that you can do a concept that we call self-health. And we have free classes for you. We have free software. When you go on the portal, soundhealthportal.com, you get 2 free softwares, one about nutrition and one about muscles. Just with those 2, you can set up information in your community to help people with their food intake and whatever is going on. And we have classes that help support that. We have a video for you, Miracles of Non-Medicine. You can download this from our regular website, soundhealthoptions.com. I don't know if it's still up on YouTube. They've been taking down everything we put up. But this is the doctors and some of the bigger cases that we've done. So soundhealthoptions.com, and you can download this, and it's free. We also have a journal of bioacoustic biology that has a lot of our articles and information and profiles that we do, jbeb.org. So that's a good way to keep up with us. This evening, we're going to be doing Audacity, which is what takes your vocal print, and you can download it. It's free, audacityteam.org. You'll be using, when you do it, if you do it on your own computer, you'll be dealing with the abacus, and you get that free when you come to our classes. We'll be adding a little bit about cholesterol and things about disturbing liver, what happens to your liver when you have alcohol or too much carbohydrates. All of this is in a textbook that you can download from our site, or when you come to our classes. It talks about time domain, the little nano voice that you can use. It's right on the front of the Sound Health portal site, the workstation. But we'll be working with frequency domain this evening. And this is a 74-page booklet that you can download and learn how to do all of this. So as we work with all of these, and you can work with them in a 2-day course, it's available for you online whenever you want to download it. We don't require that you sit in class. A lot of you have offices and jobs, so we try to put all of this on for you so you can do it at any time that you want. And we will be doing a drawing for the cholesterol software and also the fatty liver software. The others are free on our site. So if you'd like to be involved with this, if you'd like to be involved with a drawing, please let us know. Just Sharry Edwards at Gmail. Let us know which one you'd want, or we're just going to pull names and we'll call you and get in touch and say, which one of these would you like to have for yourself? So with cholesterol, it is required that your body have cholesterol, but they're getting ridiculous with it. We had a man come in and his cholesterol was 50. Now, in my grandma's day, your cholesterol was supposed to be 100 plus your age, and this man was in his 70s. His cholesterol was 50. He couldn't turn around. He didn't have any balance. He couldn't think. They had him on statin drugs, and we'll talk a little bit about the damage that statin drugs do. We're also going to talk about fatty liver, and cholesterol is involved with a fatty liver, and here's some of the things that is involved with it. Hepatitis, liver damage, alcoholism, cirrhosis, diabetes, kidney disease, nausea, bleeding gums, digestion upsets, mood swings, hormone imbalances. So a lot of what is going on. One of the things when we have a fatty liver, we tend to also be body fat. Couple of things here. If there's fat underneath your upper arm hanging down, then that's usually indicative of high insulin. So you become insulin sensitive. The other things that happens is something called lipoedema. So the body comes in, the fat comes into the body, but the body won't release it. And we do have several bio-diet programs that'll help identify that. And it's also on the portal, and I'll show you how to deal with that. So here are some cholesterol-related diseases, heart disease mainly, but diabetes, weight management, peripheral artery disease, leaky gut. There's, I forget what it's called. It's your legs get really jumpy, and there's a lack of circulation in your legs at night, so it feels like your legs are being shocked. That's all part of cholesterol and circulation. So a lot going on here, and I'm trying to hurry because we only have a small amount of time to be together. One of the things that cholesterol helps do is coat the nerves so that signaling, the body talking to each other, is part of what is going on. So that's why we have to do these together as we look at them. So the cholesterol is actually a kind of fat that your body has to have. Your brain's made of it. The nerve covering is made of it. It affects your arteries, your heart. It's a special kind of lining and protection for the body. Okay, there's bad cholesterol and good. How do you remember? A low grade is the bad guy. A low grade is bad. So low density lipids, that's bad cholesterol. That's the one that causes heart attacks and clogged arteries. You know, one of the things that's really good to unclump your blood is niacin, B3. It really helps deattach all these clumps of the bad cholesterol. Good stuff. High density cholesterol, triglycerides. So I'm going to give you a couple of links so you can look at more of this. I'd rather show you how to do this than talk your leg off when you could look at it on the internet and things that are happening. Sources of cholesterol, cheese. Now the internet says egg yolks, but the white has everything in it to use the yellow, so you can ignore that piece if you've heard it. Beef, poultry, the fats. And they say that's bad fats, but according to some literature, it's good fats. So sources of cholesterol, a lot of carbs turn into sugar, which turn into something that's really bad for your digestion and your ability to move what you're eating through the body without it becoming something that's toxic to you. There are portable meters that you can look at your cholesterol. It's easier to do now than it used to be. And sometimes department stores or even pharmacies have a thing you can set down and check your blood pressure and your cholesterol and whatever. But this, I think, was from Amazon. Well worth it to just watch what's going on. Good fats, avocado, coconuts. These are supposed to have everything in them to digest themselves, where things like canola oil and that kind of bad fats, supposedly, don't have everything it needs to digest itself. So good fats and bad fats in food. So cholesterol helps maintain all your cell structures and functions, helps bring down ingested fats, especially helps you produce bile salts. Those of you out there who are craving bread, it is usually serine that you crave in the bread, in the grain, and the serine is one of the bases of the bile salts that helps break down the cholesterol. Production of certain steroid hormones, really important, and the synthesis of vitamin D. And it's a good balancing thing from dietary cholesterol, from cholesterol that you synthesize. The body makes cholesterol on its own, not from something you eat, but from the own inner workings, the biochemistry. And this is the biochemistry of it. And we have put all of this, broken it down, put it into a template for you, a software for you. Most of the problem we see with people, especially those on statins, are HMG-CoA reductase, and a lot of times it's mevalonate. So we've taken all this cascade and began to put it into a computer program to show what matches by the frequency. Like the frequency of the note of A is 440 or 442, depending on the scale you're looking at. And so we look and see what's going on with that particular frequency in the body, and it is complicated. We decoded all of this into numbers, and we put it in the computer program to compare this to your voice. And here's some of the information. This is called a pathway. Now, what we've created is a mathway. Conventional medicine will say pathway, and they'll go into your blood and they'll check all of these things, and we put some of the notes down that it compares it with. In the larger class that we're going to do, we think it's going to be about 6 hours. We think we might do it on a Saturday, if that's convenient for everyone. And you'll learn how to use the computer program to check all of this and then what to do about it. So we look at the liver, which is here, and the liver regenerates itself. They can cut off pieces and it'll regenerate. The bile and gallbladder is attached here. A lot of times when gallstones back up, it backs up into the liver and hardens the liver. Hormones for digestion and for reproduction, to make everything work in the body, all the glucocorticoids, all are here in the liver. It's a vital role in almost everything the body is doing, from neutralizing poisons like glyphosate. The liver becomes enlarged, pushes on your heart, and your body begins to look like this. And these are all fatty deposits in the fat tissue. So when someone comes in and they have a fat issue around the middle, we usually start with looking at their liver. And we test all of these things on them. These are the hormones of the cholesterol. So cortisol is in that, and progesterone, and testosterone, and estrogen. So a lot more than just the biochemistry of digestion. Also, your ability to reproduce is controlled here. This is Hannah Yosef. She wrote a book on statins and cholesterol. We've had her on our radio show. She really does not like statins, and neither does Stephanie Seneff, because they really mess up your ability to feed your muscles and detox your muscles. It's a great book. Richard, you are breaking up really bad. Bad. Richard, you're breaking up too bad. We can't understand anything you're saying. Why don't you call our, let me find your name here. You're on staff. I'm going to give you the phone number to call in to the okay, call in, and this will give you a direct link so we can hear you. You sound like you're underwater, and I really want to hear what you have to say. Okay, we'll give you a couple minutes to call in. I will check on anything, the questions that people put up. Restless leg syndrome. Yes, Ingrid, that's what it's called, and I was trying to... You're on the air. Richard, are you there? Richard, can't hear you. I will put it in here. Can't hear you on phone. Richard, do you need me to hang up? You want to call back? Because we cannot hear you if you're talking. Okay, I'll hang up and you can try again. Okay, this is Stephanie Seneff that has been on this show, and when she talks about statins and what they do, she talks about that they put her husband on statins and it nearly killed him. And so she began to research. She's from MIT, and she began to research about it and really got involved and found out how bad this whole thing is. We also have sets of cards that will give you cholesterol information, like what amino acids are in the body and by its notes. So you can do this from our nano voice if you'd like, when you're doing this on your own. The abacus will give you the notes, mapping methylation. It will give you the notes that you want to look at. So we could go ahead and do mapping methylation too, which tells us how you're working with foods. Here are some foods that lower cholesterol: oatmeal, oat bran, fish, walnuts, almonds, olive oil, artichoke, especially people who have heart issues. Artichoke leaf and okay, hung up again. Garlic, red yeast rice. Now, red rice yeast, this is the major component of statins, and it's so much cheaper than if you go buy statins. Somebody is saying there's no sound. Would somebody confirm that? Emmanuel's saying omega-3s are dangerous. I don't know if everybody can see the questions here.
Are you hearing me now, Sharry?
Yes, Richard. Where are you? Are you on the phone?
I'm on the phone. Well, I called back in through the platform. GoToWebinar gave me a phone number to call in on.
Great. You're sounding wonderful. Okay, let me answer a few questions here. What is the relationship between the liver and the thyroid? Well, I'll show you in a second. If you could just hold that question, Betsy, that would be great. Okay, let's go on. Some foods just to help naturally take it down, the cholesterol. You can also use B3, I already mentioned, silymarin. I wrote these things down. Now I can't see my note, but this will reduce the cholesterol. B3 is the thing that I've seen reduce it. Richard, as a master herbalist, what herbs would reduce cholesterol and fat in the body?
Well, I think I'd want a combination. So silymarin is, the common name for that is milk thistle, and that would be good. Anything that's going to help, I think a combination of something like classic formulas for bitters or bitter tonics. Those are usually formulas that people make in liquid, and you can have as a tea or some sort of liquid that you throw into water, or you can drink it directly. Well, I could drink it directly, but I would recommend that to most people because it's very bitter. And what that does is that helps stimulate the liver and kind of cause it to be more activated in a good way. And then I would use that in combination with also some kind of fiber, because as you kick things out of the liver, you want it to get out of the body, and getting it out through the bowel is a good way to go. But you could use my classic old favorite formula of the yellow dock, burdock, another bitter. I'd throw in some kind of Artemisia is what's coming to mind, but that's way too bitter for most people. I think bitter tonics, I think bitters are a long-term beneficial effect. So it's something you use on a regular basis and down the road. It's not something you take today and look for action tomorrow. And that's true of most herbs, where you're going to take them for a period of time and then get result.
Can people make their own bitters?
Yes, yeah. You can find formulas online for bitters and make your own. They can be alcohol extracts. They can be vinegar extracts. Alcohol is easy because if you throw that into hot tea, if you don't want the alcohol vaporizes. So you could make a bitter tonic.
Okay. Up next, foods that stress cholesterol levels, vegetable oils. Somebody told me that canola oil is really used for an oil lubricant on tires in Canada, and they aren't really allowed to sell it to humans. So peanut, Crisco, vegetable oils, fried, battered foods. microwave popcorn. I don't know what kind of oil it has on it, but obviously not good. So as we do this, we're going to start out with Richard using Audacity. Do you think you have a cholesterol issue, Richard?
Well, I think I have the, let's see, I have high LDL, but I have higher HDL. So I have elevated levels of happy cholesterol to counteract my higher levels of LDL. That's how I've always worked with it.
Okay, do you have weight around the middle you want to get rid of?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so we'll run you maybe through cholesterol, certainly through fatty liver, and just see where this is coming from. If you guys are going to be working with this on your own, you can download the Abacus. We'll show you how to, the computer can pull the points of significance. We're looking at methylation mapping to how the body is using of its incoming sources. And some we can look at Alzheimer's, because Alzheimer's has been traced back to a fatty liver. So we can put as many as 10 different templates together. We discovered some of this by looking at Ronald Reagan's information, and there's a certain architecture for Alzheimer's that's coming from cholesterol, and Nancy Pelosi has it. We have a paper written about her showing the architecture and what's happening with the map. And this is the map that you can create for yourself from a program we call methylation mapping and or Krebs cycle. I need to warn you that, let me back up a minute. You can have this done online. Last time I looked, it was $625, but we can do it on the computer. You know, if you have the program, you can do it for free. But it looks at some of these panels and what's happening with it. This is the detox cycle. The second one is how the body uses energy. The third one is DNA. Number 4, methionine, how the body reduces its stress and toxic level. And then number 5 down here, glutathione. We're looking at an awful lot of people right now that are glyphosate poisoned, and they have SUOX, SAHH, and ACHY in stress. And that's inability to use sulfur, which protects the body, and we can look for that also. A warning here, use the right microphone. You don't, any old mic will do, even your cell phone will do, if you're just going to do this with Nano Voice. And we have free Nano Voice all-day classes, if you'd like. We can put that up when we put up this recording. This is what some of the note correlate charts look like that deal with fatty liver, like arginine is really, really important to help keep the fatty liver from happening. So we create these sets of cards for everybody to get them moving. Okay, one of the things we do with bioacoustics is help reverse what the body is doing that they said beforehand that is incurable. We have been able to back off macular degeneration and a lot of things that were incurable just by knowing the frequency. We are frequency-based robots. The brain is the central processing unit. You have all these neural networks, all your nerves that send all these signals, frequency signals, throughout the body to make it work. People don't like to think about that we are robots, but some of the work that James Gates has done, he and his students found that there is computer code in plant DNA, and that computer code is a fix-it code for humans. So maybe we're not Borg, maybe we are. But we know the frequencies, and we want to provide those to you in a way that's without prejudice, without the perspective that we can't heal. we heal ourselves through our own frequencies. So we hold classes. We have a lot of free ones. We have a lot of free software. People say, if it's free, what good is it? We are being bombarded by people who don't really care about our health. They care about filling up their pocketbooks. So that's why we're trying to get this information out to people without anything that will stop us or prejudice. You can do it if you'd like. So health, in my mind, is in our hands now, this concept of self-health. And that's what we want to share with you to the point where you can share it with your community. So we're going to open something called Audacity. And in the booklet, it shows you how to download, how to set it up, how to go to edit and look at your preferences. So this should be 32 hertz, 16-bit mono. And it shows you how to set up all of this. We're going to have Richard talk to us about what he wants us to look at, his energy, his weight that he wants to get rid of, whatever, for 30 seconds. And this is the timer up here. You ready to go, Richard?
I'm ready.
Go.
So I'd had, in my younger years, I lived in the Monterey Peninsula, and we used to drive up to what is now Silicon Valley, and it was fun to stick your head out the car window and get dusted by the crop dusters, which now, decades later, I realized I was being sprayed with DDT. So I have that as a background. And then I've lived in an agrarian area, a farm. They grow wine, but they're now finding glyphosate in organic wine up here. So there's regular exposure to glyphosate.
Okay, I hit
can keep going.
the red circle to start. I hit the yellow square to stop. I let it go a little long because this dead spots, I want to find the scissors and just chop that out. And there was about a second at the beginning that I want to chop out. Scissors. And then we could play it if we want.
So I'd had in my...
We could pause it in case somebody came to the door or whatever. But we're going to export this audio. Export, not save. It comes to me as a BPF file if you save it, and I can't use it. So Richard, fatty liver, and everything you save must have a discrete name or it'll kick out the last one. Fatty liver live. Okay, and we file it. We don't want it in Lena's file. We want it in Waves. Waves online. Save. Okay, I'm not going to kill that. I'm just going to reduce it, and we're going to open the portal. Okay, when the portal first comes open, you have to fill in Richard's name and all that. This is filled in for somebody else, but we do have Richard on here. So he has what we call a stash. And so we can add everything to it. If I could spell his name right. So
I'm not seeing the portal, Sharry. I'm still seeing audio Audacity. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, I got an extra A in your name.
Wow.
Okay, Richard, and it'll go ahead and look for it. Richard Fibro, this was yours. I've got Richard's on here. We want to save yours so we can compare it from time to time. So I'm going to say we want to bring in that new voice file. And it's supposed to say browse right here. Let me open this up all the way. There it goes. So we went to Waves. That was on the desktop. You have to remember where you filed things. That's one of my worst habits. I lose things and don't know where I filed them. But we give you suggestions online. We give you suggestions on how to set up your desktop. So we want it by a date created. So there's Richard fatty liver. It brings it in. Now, this is the magic part. Well, we have to save it first. And we can go to what's called bio bundles, and this is available to you on your guest level. So we go to bio bundles and we type in metabolic, metabolic syndrome. Now, somebody asked, what's the difference in a fatty liver? What's the connection between fatty liver and thyroid? Okay, in Richard's case, it tells us that it's not cholesterol, 1.3%. Fatty liver, 1.3, insulin resistance, Krebs cycle. It's really lipoedema, 1.8. This comes from genetics, and there's the thyroid. So we can click thyroid and lipedema. So here's the thyroid. And I'm going to use a different one because you can't hardly see it. Okay, so it's here. Fluoride looks like it's really high, and that's bothering your thyroid. It's bigger. So here's the Krebs cycle. It's too low. Glucose 6-phosphate. That deals with blood sugar and controlling blood sugar. But we can look at all of these and see where his problem is. And the problem is lipoedema. There's all the pieces of lipoedema. And we can look at these and know alpha-28 adrenergic receptor. Adrenals have a lot to do with cortisol and fat on the stomach. The other thing I meant to add is DDT turns to DDD in the body, and DDD is the same frequency as the muscles on the stomach, so that fat really binds up the toxin in a little pinch of fat and lays it down on a similar spot of frequency in the body to deal with later. So I would think that we're going to find DDD in Richard's chart. This is too high, and this is adiponectin. That really deals a lot with the body releasing fat to be burned for energy. And there's the adiponectin receptor. These are the things that are in stress. Now, if we add somebody else here, it's going to be all different. But in Richard's case, we need to run him through lipoedema. At the same time, we need to look at the fatty liver. Let's take out lipoedema, and let's look at the fatty liver. So GABA albutyric acid, that it helps the body make energy. Remember the map? GLUT4, this is precursor to diabetes. Apolipoprotein, that deals with insulin resistance. There's GABA again. Insulin receptor, so the lipase is for fat, so we know that's in somewhat of stress. This is the lowest in the middle, and as it goes out, what's on this outer ring is too high. So we need to manage those frequencies. It's like a canceling headset. You get on the plane, you turn on your canceling headset, it takes a record of what's too high, it gives it back its counterbalance, and you don't hear all the extra noise. So that is what we're doing. But this is where you tell how is fatty liver associated with thyroid. And in Richard's case, it's very little, 1 out of 171. So we can rule that out. You take the highest one, 1.8, and that's where you concentrate on why he's having trouble. Lipoedema lets the fat in, but it won't let it back out because there's issues with adiponectin, cortisol, ghrelin, a lot of different things. Okay, we want to save and continue now that we know that. And we want to do an evaluation. Now, those of you who bring down the abacus, it will it will show you how to pull points. This is what this blue line is normal. You can see right here, this is way too low. This is probably 99. So we're going to ask the computer. We've trained it over the years to pull points. I'll pull it by current, but you can pull it many different ways. You can combine charts. Now, automatically, when this comes in, it'll give us a bunch of red things. And these are the points that are too low, you don't have enough of. This is the lowest low, -1, -2, and this one is an urgent one. And there's some here that's +1, +2, and +3, and the +3 are red flags. I'm just rolling the mouse. So this one is a red flag that we need to deal with this right now. It says it's a G sharp, and a G sharp is about physical use of minerals. So we can go back and pull more if we want, or less, and get rid of them. All kinds of things that we can't show you right this second. But here's the thing I love. You go up here to the little printer. You can do lots of things here. Oh, I didn't save it. So you go up here. Oh, I have to pick software first. This gives us a scale of what's going on with him. NSYNC, which is a bundle, 50 is high. He's got a 290. Autism, and this is really the metabolism of food stuff. That's what's mostly in autism. The gene may be in there, but 286, those are really close. This is how he uses methionine and glutathione, gets rid of toxins. So we can look at all of this and see what his priorities are. There's fatty liver, has 10%. Note that A is the worst one. We're going to click fatty liver and run it first and say, okay. But we could pick fatty liver and cholesterol, and it'll come up and give us some turquoise stuff. And this is the biggest turquoise, so that's the worst issue. It is related to a lot of these other things. So we just picked one, fatty liver. If we picked cholesterol and lipoedema, these circles would get bigger and tell us what frequency we should go for first. But let's look at what's going on with him right now. So save and close. Here's his evaluation that we did today. So click, and we can open it. This is the issues with his fatty liver. And it'll give us relevance. Any yellow relevance, we'll say that's where we need to start. And I don't see any yellow. Oh, here's yellow. These are the things that are too low that we need to support with frequency. Thermogenin, I think that's where the body keeps you hot or cold or maintains homeostasis. Pituitary hormone regulates homeostasis. Stored in brown fat to regulate thermogenesis. Brown fat is the good fat. White fat and gray fat are bad fat. The other we can look at, yellow's first, and then this turquoise color. It's the highest high, and we would want to bring that down. GABA. GABA is what Robin Williams had too many of. It makes your mind be too stimulated. Flaxseed oil, too high. Are you taking flaxseed?
No.
Okay, and here's
I had crackers earlier that had flaxseed in them, but no, I'm not taking it as an oil.
okay. You know, there's a difference in a fatty liver for an alcoholic and a fatty liver from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates turns into sugar. Alcohol turns into sugar, so you get the same overstimulation of the liver, but it's from a different pathway. Acetyl-CoA, that's a cholesterol thing. Prostaglandin X, myocardial infection. We should look at that. Prostaglandin I2. I don't know if that's a good or the bad one. Serotonin is low, so you're probably not sleepy. Insulin receptor is low. That's probably the hang-up right there. And we know what to do with if it's a gene or if it's a protein. Premarin you could ignore. That's birth control for women, so you could ignore that. But it'll give us a printout. It'll also give us a report that you can hand over to your clients. And it's an easy thing to do. This is 4 pages. 4 or 5 is about normal. Anything 7 or more is a problem. So it starts, you can see over in the corner, this is the ranking. And it says, we need to work with this GABA receptor, which is a protein, first because it's too low. Then a pituitary hormone. This gives you where you should start. Now, I don't believe you can buy a GABA receptor. I think we have to do it with sound. There may be a GABA receptor medication. I just don't know about it. We can look at different pages. It gives you instructions for a client. This is really, really easy to do. Punch a few buttons and you can help them determine. If you do nutrition, which is one you get free, you can help them, okay, what recipe has vitamin A? Carrot soup. By the way, there's an issue that says don't take with vitamin A. I think it's cortisone. Oh, silymarin that you should not take with vitamin A. They fight each other. But this gives you all the ranking and where you should start, and it's enough for them to take it to their wellness provider or work with you to fill this up and make it so it's compatible with people. Now we can go back and add more in here and see what overlaps. So we had fatty liver, and the fatty liver was being caused by lipodemia, L-I-P-O. And what was the other one that came up? Adiponectin, fatty liver, a bit of thyroid, but not much, HYR. I'm doing this to show you what it's going to look like. So we want to take fatty liver. If there is any kind of liver damage, it'll have liver disturbance or something like that. So we could put liver in here and see if there's any problem so far by just, there's 9 issues. It's not very high. This gives us our ranking of what we really should be doing. So fatty liver is the highest, and then the lipoedema, the note of A and G. A is metabolism, ankles. G is use of minerals. So we can say, okay, let's look at that and see how they overlap. I didn't punch thyroid, and I should have. So this is only fatty liver, and you can see the lipoedema and the fatty liver overlap each other in their relevance. They're significant. So these are things that we need to look at. You probably would not want adrenal cyclase messed with, oh, it's low. When it's high, you're more sensitive and psychic. But that is part of, epigenetic means it's on the way. Protein means it's already here and it's useful. Catalase cleans the blood. Doesn't dandelion have catalase in it?
I think so.
Because Grandma used to make us do that in the spring to clean up our blood. That and lamb's quarters. So here it says alpha-2b adrenergic receptor. I'm not sure what that is, so it's underlined. So we can click on it, and it'll take us to a place where we can go look up what it is. So we've built in all this reference stuff. The other thing that you can do is if you see something you want to look up, like catalase, a protein, you can go to what's called Paper Health, and it'll give you the information. Well, close that because that did not work. Protein catalase, little green flower thing. It should take us to catalase and what is it doing. So we've built in quite a lot of information resources for you so you can help your client along. So it tells you where to get it, what it does, what its metabolism. And yes, I am hurrying. Our bigger class will be 6 hours. There'll be a lot more information going on with it. Okay, let's say, okay. I wanted to show you the WAV file too and how that overlaps. When we added more to it, more databases to it, it gives us bigger green turquoise. So this is where we'd start. That's the biggest one, and that's a low. And we would have to look at what that is and what node it is. It's a node of B. We'll teach you what levels all of this is, how to use some of the frequencies to look up what's happening in that class, and how to interpret a lot of this. Do you have any questions, Richard, about what we're going over?
No. I see methylation. I recognize this vocal print. That's me.
Okay, methylation is one of the most important ones that you can do, and we have it under mapping, Krebs map. That's two together. This will tell me how you're utilizing your foods. Only 13 hits, only 5.
Oh, not bad.
Not bad at all. You're doing really well. Serotonin low, MTRR, that's the use of methionine. This is some blood sugar. This is the use of methionine. Let's go to the chart and you'll see how you can kick this in. MTRR right here. Any of this blue stuff in the boxes, that's genetic. So you're having an MTRR issue. That means you're having an issue with methionine. Now, bioavailable methionine is SAMI. So you can jump over this genetic piece and just take some SAMI if you have it on hand. So you can fill this out for your client and know where their information is. Almost anyone who has cancer has the Krebs cycle in stress. We did 2 people this week that had cancer. Both of them had NAD, nicotinic adenosine diphosphate, out. Richard, you want to say anything about that? You take NAD and NAC and all that?
Well, I was going to say I'm more of a NAC N-acetylcysteine advocate in that it's really fabulous for helping. Speaking of, I suspect it affects cholesterol because it does help detoxify the liver. So I bet it does have an effect, although that's not its history. But it's one of those things that if you have some sort of poisoning incident or feel, you had something that makes you feel bad, or you drank and you're hungover, or any of those kinds of things, take N-acetylcysteine or NAC, and it really does help the liver out so much. But it's also a secondary effect is that it builds up glutathione.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan of NAC.
And the glutathione being messed up is one of the things that the coronavirus is doing, along with iron and quercetin, and we can do coronavirus stuff too. So I'd fill out this map, I'd just circle it, and then I would know where things are going awry. So Krebs cycle, detox, build the energy, and your serotonin is too low right now. Serotonin and melatonin is the sleep things, but it also helps make energy. This is how you deal with your DNA, and you had MTRR, which comes through this piece here. So methionine is an issue. And this is how you deal with your incoming resources. So methionine and glutathione. This is all sulfur down here. So immune system. We teach you how to use this map and how it really helps. We have raced through this information. We will expand on all of it when we do the bigger course, if you guys want one. And we'll also be looking at the software then. Two types of software. The one that you can use online on the portal, and then one that you can use on your own computer. I'll put these links, if it'll let me. I will put these links in the chat so you can get more information. I realized that I just going through a lot of this really fast, but I don't know any of it that I could leave out. Put message here, and I'll make it to everyone.
And I would toss in that for people who haven't seen Sharry on the portal before, and also I was Sharry's co-host on the radio show for years, and then she started developing the portal and handed me the radio show, so we know each other quite well. And the thing with using the portal or doing the software is you just have to do it. Also, I think that helps a lot, is the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, wow, I'm surprised I remember that. Especially with a portal. The portal gives you an amazing amount of information and display. Not that the software does not, but I really am very fond of the portal because of how it displays things with the pie charts and the obvious, like, here's the thing you want to work on now. The portal is really quite amazing.
Thank you. You've seen
That's
this.
not a paid advertisement.
You've seen this being developed. You see how easy it is now. This is the nano voice I was telling you about. But go to services, campaigns. You can go to, say, Corona conflicts, and you can send your clients here. It tells you about the software and then leads you through doing your own vocal prints. So all these different service ones are free. Golf, we try to change these out. I want to put gravity up here because that's what 5G is really messing with. And you've had some shows about that too. But it's messing with our iron. So we'll put gravity up here for people and so they can test their credichrome. If we have time, we can do that when we do the all-day course and show you how to use each of these. There's all kinds of support here, tutorials, apprentice level. You can do all of this on your own. You can come to a live class, or you can do a recorded class. And like I said at the beginning, your community needs you, and we want to help train you and provide you tools so you can help your community, because our health freedom is being eroded. We need to take it back. And this is the opportunity to do that. This tells you what nutrients you need for coronavirus. There's so much exaggerated information. I don't know what to believe about coronavirus, except I don't believe it. Thank you, Richard, for volunteering. Did you learn?
It was fun. Thank you, as always.
Let me check questions before we leave.
Oh, I want to toss out when I was sounding like I was calling in from the League of Legends down in the ocean. I was talking about the heart muscle. That's one of the things that statins do, is that they strip the CoQ10 from the heart. And when Merck filed its original medical patents for statins, in the original write-up, within the actual patent, it said if you're going to take statins, you should take a certain amount of CoQ10 a day. It actually said that within the write-up of the original drug filings. And that's sort of fallen away.
Now they advertise on TV now, if you're on statins, ours is the best CoQ10.
Yeah.
In question, if you can't see it, Anita says, Phenols help to reduce cholesterol. Olive oil, flaxseed, as well as nicotinamide, pumpkin seed, catalase enzymes. I don't know if you guys can see questions or not, but we will look and see if we have the...
Nattokinase is also really good. Nattokinase is a fermented form of soybeans that are very easy to make. The guest a couple weeks ago, Sandor Katz, who's Mr. King of Fermentation, in one of his books talks about how easy it is to make nattokinase, and it's a phenomenal thing for the blood and many other systems in the body.
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon, I think.
Yeah.
Here's a good question from Angela Logic. Now that COVID vaccines are being distributed, if we get the shot, what can we take to counter any effects by flavonoids more than anything else? And we have figured out the shot that was given to Trump, the base of it, and how to get rid of it if you end up taking that. So we should do a show about vaccines. That's a good question. We've had several articles about COVID and vaccines and what you should do with it. That's on soundhealthoptions.com under Corona. Anita says energy of that is good for liver. I don't know what she means, energy of what. Anita, put that in for us. Catalase high in sweet potatoes and in vegetables that are watery, like cucumber, that kind of thing. Collard greens, she says. Will this class be on video well, we hope so, Renee, but they've been jerking everything down. Go to our site, Sound Health Options, under classes, and there'll be a video of this with some articles posted too. Good question. I don't have my taste or smell at the moment. I believe I'm going through the virus right now. Kristen, zinc will help with that. Bring back your taste and smell. Go in and look at the coronavirus. Go to the portal, run yourself through Corona and see where you are. The something, Val says some link doesn't work. I don't know what that is. Rensselaer, can you send that to my private email so we can run it down, Val? SherryEdwards@gmail.com. Would there be a tone box you could recommend for the liver? We could build one for you based on what's on your vocal print. Certainly, we could build it. Okay, Anita put in a link. I don't think they can see this link, Anita. I think you'll have to put it in the chat because you put it in questions. I'm concerned we won't have internet access before I'm able to learn everything, or that I will be able to forward all the templates. The templates, we have 10 normal ones, and with one class you get 10 templates. But they're $20 a month, and you just charge your client. Like if you do their nutrition, charge them $20, $25, and that's a free template, the nutrition one. So we'll help work with you, or you can ask your client to sponsor you for a month on heart or whatever. How long does it usually take someone to recover once they follow your suggestion? Boy, this is from Lana. I've seen it happen in 15 minutes, and then we got another guy that's been on frequencies for his lungs for about 15 years. He had emphysema. We backed it off, but he uses the sound 1 hour a month just so it won't come back. So it's different for every person. Should we take CoQ10 or ubiquinol if we already take atorvastatin? Andrew, that's a statin, and it's made from red rice yeast. You need to look at your voice to see where CoQ10 is on your voice. Chat box is very small. Yes, it is. Yes, CoQ10 is important. Statins, nattokinase. That's more from Anita. If you want them to have that, put it in the chat to everybody. Good question about COVID vax. What if they have a nanovial in the vaccine? I do think they have a nanovial in it. I think they have horrible things in the vaccine. You know, I may be paranoid, but I think this wear a mask, stay away from people, you can't go to a restaurant. I think it's just a test to see how far they can push people before we begin to fight back. And it's past time. They are making totally arbitrary decisions. They can go on vacation, but you can't. They can go to the gym, but you can't. You know, there's no difference in people in Texas or Arkansas or New York. They're just making ridiculous rules just to push somebody's buttons. And somebody ought to just turn around and smack them in the nose. It's a form of statins, Anita. I don't have chat here. Chat, boy, nobody's, well, send it to me and we'll send it out to people, whatever you have for them. I don't know how to give you chat. I just push a button on the little box that comes up to look at chat. Can the software do anything about this? The software doesn't do anything. We must provide you nutrition or sounds or give you information about what is going on. The software just gives you information. It doesn't cure or whatever. Have you ever worked with IPF client? I don't know what an IPF client is. James, can you put that? Thank you, Lena. So you think they're pushing us too. I am on the computer and don't see chat. I don't know what to tell you, Anita. Anita says someone is on a statin, they must take CoQ10. We are not allowed to give that information in the States. We're not allowed to recommend. Maybe you are in Canada where you are, but we could get in trouble for saying, if you're on a statin, you must take CoQ10. You'll see that all over the internet, but we can't recommend it. We can only say, see, this is high. In order to bring it down, do this. Please give me
Not laughing at you. Just yes.
Yeah, we try to be very careful so they can't shut us down. That's why we start class. We're looking at math. We aren't looking at conventional medicine. We don't have that kind of background. We are looking at math.
I know that when I interviewed Doc Giff, who's a doctor who's 98 in Canada, who's been writing medical columns under a pseudonym, because in Canada, because you're in socialized medicine, you can't advertise your practice or anything. But he was a big advocate of high doses of vitamin C. He's taking 6 to 8 grams of vitamin C a day. This is because he had a stroke when he was 68. Did I mention he's 98 now? So evidently it's working. And also of ubiquinol or CoQ10. That's his experience.
It allows a lot of communication with the cells. So it's great stuff. Yeah. Okay, Trina, you sent me a private message here. Go to Sound Health Options and fill out a client application form so that we can go ahead and communicate and I know what's going on. I
apologize to say this, but I must jump off because I have to set up to produce another event. But that was fun. Thank you so much.
That's good. Thank you for, we're about to run out too. Thank you for being here. And I need to say one more thing. Anita says, we are all essential. I'm a nutritionist, so I can. Not in the United States. You have to have a 4-year degree in nutrition and pass nutrition boards by the state in order to give nutritional information. Your degrees will not hold up in the United States. You have a lot of really good information. I'm just trying to keep us out of trouble. Yadarina says the links are not working. Write to me personally. You have my email, Yadarina, and let me know what links are not working. Chat is under audio, red arrow above the mic symbol. You see that, a raised hand symbol. Okay, Ingrid says there is a chat there above under audio. Renee says, thank you for this class. I look forward to more classes. That's great. Facebook is shutting anyone down who doesn't agree with the party line. Yes, and we ought to find an alternative to Facebook. Brighton.com, Mike Adams stuff is a real good place to share, and it'll just go around Facebook. Facebook ought to fall. We in America will not be censored. Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, not a known cure. James, write to us because we have worked with that before. Renee says, thank you, Richard. Kimberly, send me the links that don't work. We'll take care of it. And we've been bombarded and kicked, and so if their links are down, let me know and we'll get them back up and running. Ingrid says there's something different from Facebook called, it's going by too fast, called MEWE. You may want to check it out. Yes, we will. I'm a doctor of neuropathy, and send form. Thank you, Trina. Let's do that. Dania, I think we got some stuff from you today, maybe. This has been great. Thank you. That keeps me doing it if people appreciate it. We are doing it to help you help others. Our campaign is your community needs you. Kimberly. Oh, the links I posted. Well, I took those right off the internet, so I'll go back and try to find some more. Great. Thank you. I ran over a little bit. Hope you don't mind. We will post all of this and post with it the correct links and articles for you to follow. And the freebie classes about, we did one about the Royals. We did one about Nano Voice. We did one about Corona. So we'll send you those links also. Thank you, Ingrid. That is good to hear. That keeps me working. We'll talk to you later.